tuned in to Recap Station. Today we are talking about a science fiction romance film called Mr. Nobody. It was released in 2009. Philip Godoth produced a film directed by Jaco van Doruma. The movie Mr. Nobody is not a simple movie. It's about what happens in your life and the many roads you could have taken. If anyone is interested in science fiction, especially the time, the universe, and the possibilities of how they existed, stay tuned. And remember, spoilers ahead. In the first scenario of the film, a pigeon is presented who assumes that his actions indicate the outcome or reward. Once the preliminaries for the film have been set, the protagonist, Mr. Nobody, is introduced. His death scenes are shown in the opening of the film. The deaths are all reflections of his many life decisions. Mr. Nobody, in his elderly age, narrates the film. During the doctor's interrogation of him, Mr. Nobody discovers that he is 118 years old, even though he has no recollection of his history. Instead, the doctor pushes him to view his present facial attributes, since he still believes he is 34. Mr. Nobody's reality hits him, and he begins to yell at the doctor since everything feels unreal to him, as a flash of unfamiliar lives and memories wash over Mr. Nobody. Julian Marshall is a news reporter who comes live from a hospital in New York where he is broadcasting a show called The Last Mortal. He is stating that Mr. Nobody is 118 years old and has not been telemerized and does not have any pig stem cells. He says that Mr. Nobody is the last person on the planet to die of old age. The discussion of Mr. Nobody's condition with his doctor reveals that Mr. Nobody has no recollection of his past events and no evidence of Mr. Nobody's name on national databases. No one knows who he is, and he has no idea about his past. He says that Mr. Nobody's memory is jumbled, which is entirely typical for someone of his age. The doctor then proposes an ancient approach that may aid in Mr. Nobody's memory recovery. Naturally, Mr. Nobody takes the offer voluntarily and lets the doctor hypnotize him. Mr. Nobody awakens after being hypnotized in a location where everyone is wearing the same clothing, and the pattern on the walls and the bedsheets are all the same. He starts rushing outside the building, and on the building's ceiling, he sees a sign that asks him to sleep and points to the sky. Before he knows it, the wardens are dragging him back to the building. The doctor then instructs him to go further into his recollections. As the narrative progresses, Mr. Nobody recalls the events leading up to his birth. He recalls beings called oblivion angels, whose mission was to make children forget about everything, since they are aware of their future. However, those angels do not erase his memories, which has an impact on the rest of his life. Mr. Nobody, like any other child, has the right to select his parents. Nevertheless, he listens in on many people's conversations, including his parents. He picks his parents for two reasons. First, the lady smelled beautiful, and second, unlike the other guys, his father was genuinely interested in his mother. He contemplates the gravity of this decision, exploring the butterfly effect. Mr. Nobody, unlike the other kids, was highly observant and curious, and he tended to question everything. Unfortunately, this inquisitive nature created chaos in his life. With the assistance of a nurse, a journalist comes to meet Mr. Nobody. He's curious regarding life before telemerization. The concept of life has evolved, and Mr. Nobody is the only one unfamiliar with this element. He belongs to the time of pollution when people used to have sex, but it has now become outdated. These findings astound the journalist as much as the altered reality jolts the protagonist. His existence is plagued by the paradox of always knowing the past yet never knowing the future. However, as he grows older, he realizes that, unlike the majority of the people, he can predict how his decisions would affect his life, because he remembers the information the angels forgot to erase. This leads him never to make a choice so that all options are still possible, especially when it comes to important life decisions, such as which childhood friend will be his wife. At one point, he predicts that his father's automobile will collide with and kill a woman because his father is focused on a piece of eggshell in his food. To rescue his father and that woman from this suffering, he clears the eggs so that the waffles are clean and changes the entire event. As a youngster, he confides in his mother and tells her about how he predicts what will happen in the future. His mother, on the other hand, does not trust him because this talent was so unusual. The protagonist's mother was cheating on his father, and he discovers this one day. This occurrence leads to his parents' separation, which takes the film to its most crucial moment. As a child, Nemo is forced to choose between his mother and father. He mulls over how both options may work out for him. If he leaves with his mother, then in the future, his mother will bring a man for supper, and while they are chatting, Nemo will end up predicting that this man would die while driving and that a train would crush him and his automobile. Moreover, he will meet Anna for the first time the next day. He was mindful of the repercussions of his decisions. He altered his actions deliberately, and as a result, Anna liked him more. The bond between their parents grew stronger with each passing day, much as the bond between Nemo and Anna. When their parents found out about their relationship, everything took a turn for the worst. After a long time, Anna and Nemo end up in the same town. They exchange numbers and meet at the lighthouse. As the story unfolds, we learn that if Nemo chooses a life with Anna, he will die at an early age which he is aware of. His automobile will crash into the sea, causing him to perish and be devoured by fish. Nemo's unexpected outburst recalls a time in his life when he was married to Elise. He has 3 children from her and has a very mundane life. Yet, Nemo's imagination is continuously shifting from one phase to the next. He was thrown into this stage unexpectedly, so he feels out of place at Elise's home. In addition, he is unaware of what is going on, and so cannot recall the name of his son. Now his mind carries him to the ramifications of his second option, living with his father. His father is physically disabled after 7 years. If Nemo chooses this life, he will be obliged to his father, where his only outlet is to write science fiction stories that are actually non-fiction about his future trip to Mars. He meets Elise at a party where her boyfriend, Stefano, is fighting with her, and she goes home with Nemo. Nemo accepts Elise's promise that Nemo will go and leave her ashes on Mars when she dies. The next day, he goes to meet her, and because he knows how she will react in a given situation, his decision here will determine the course of his life. If he returns and responds aggressively, he will have a catastrophic accident. He will have to be paralyzed for the rest of his life. As the film progresses, the spectator is warned that if Nemo keeps quiet, Elise will reject him, and he would end up marrying the first female who dances with him at the party. Jean was the first girl who chose to dance with him, and at the end of the day, he was determined that he would marry her and be wealthy, with a large house painted yellow and a swimming pool. Nemo will learn to swim and will not stop until he has accomplished all of his goals. If he speaks up when Elise rejects him, he ends up marrying her, but Elise had been highly depressed her entire marriage, with rapid ups and downs. One day it all got out of control, and she decided to leave. She chooses to start her own hairstyling business after leaving Nemo. The second part of Nemo's existence is introduced, in which he is sitting next to the swimming pool and cannot identify his wife, Jean. He mistakenly called her Elise. He then makes the callous claim that he knows no one called Elise. Jean, on the other hand, appears unconcerned and urges Nemo to relax. Nemo's friends come to his and Jean's house. These colleagues are from his office, and they are telling him that they miss him at work in order to persuade him to return. While Nemo is occupied with all the news on the news channel, his life experiences and the trauma he was going through had an impact on his marriage with Jean, and he ended up leaving her. Once his marriage failed, he carved yes on the one side of a coin, and on the other, he wrote no. He leaves his choices for the coin to determine, and he ended up in a hotel room where he altered his name, and some individuals killed him because they mistook him for someone else. When Elise dies, Nemo travels to Mars to disperse her ashes, and on his way back to Earth, he is hit by a meteor. He died, living out the fiction story he had written as a kid while living with his father after his motorcycle accident left him paralyzed. After all these recollections, Nemo gets up in this realm where everything is the same, and it becomes difficult for him to distinguish between things. He misidentifies another lady as his mother, resulting in an outburst. He is constantly given signals to abandon that location. Finally, he follows his instincts and dials the number that appeared in the sky. This phone call provides him with a place where he may obtain a CD. This CD contains a message from an older Mr. Nobody who is conversing with his younger self. He had this talk just to make him aware of the reality that he must live his life to the fullest for himself. He informs his younger self that time has been reversed for him and his time began after the narrative. He's informed that he must live until February 12, 2092. He is perplexed by this paradox and believes that only the architecture knows what is going on right now. The child at the train hasn't made a choice about which parent to live with yet. By the end of the interview, the journalist who was questioning Mr. Nobody is similarly perplexed, unable to grasp what Mr. Nobody's true choice was that led to the life he is presently living. He concludes by saying that everything could have been anything else, and this would have just as much meaning. Nemo explains to the reporter that currently, everyone exists in the mind of the child faced with the impossible decision of choosing which parent to live with. At the end of the film, we learn that Nemo understood what it would be like to live with his mother and father. As a result, he abandoned both of his alternatives and made a choice to embark on a new path.